Three Houses, the most popular game in the series, has many defining characteristics. A notable one being the freedom to have anyone be anything you can imagine. Do you want 7 wyverns and 1 Lysithea? Well, my friend, you have won Maddening. Congratulations! Except for early game. This game also has a new weapon type, fists. Punch people to death because it's funny! They use the Brave effect, which lets them attack twice in a row on player phase, or even 4 times if you can double. A very common situation on Maddening. They're balanced by having even lower might than swords, being locked to non-magic and non-mounted classes, and not having any ranged options, and that one combat art locked to a DLC class doesn't count. Although mounted classes can dismount and use them, but I only did that once this playthrough anyways. This should make the rules quite straightforward. So I did the run on Maddening because every other difficulty of this game is an absolute joke. And then, well, only fists obviously. I think most people read the title. Swords, lances, whatever else are banned, and cannot be used for any reason. This includes offensive magic. However, I allowed all supportive white magic. If you know anything about Three Houses, you might be thinking to yourself, but wait, doesn't it mean you can just skip most maps and not have to play half the game? Yes, it does. Maddening is a very unfair difficulty, especially if you can't use flyers, like me. My thought process was that if I banned white magic like Warp, the game wouldn't actually be any harder, it'd just take, like, way more time. Either I'd grind to absurd levels using glitches, or lay down and die. In my opinion, the maps you can't skip are more fun anyways, and the real hard part in the game, the first few chapters, can't really be skipped anyways. So anyways, now we begin Fire Emblem, but I can only fist people to death. What, is there something wrong with that description? After a funny cutscene, we get a choice that does not matter because it is objectively obvious. We pick the female character, because of flight, obviously. Okay, maybe I should do some explaining. For some asinine reason, they brought back gender-locked classes in this game, when Fates removed them already. All of the fist classes barring DLC is locked to males. However, only being able to use males when there is literally females with fist boons would be pretty boring. So I installed the mod to remove gender-locked classes. It didn't end up mattering, as you'll see later, but I just kinda want to make that clear. I named the protagonist Fistleth because I thought it would be funny, although the characters never call you by their actual name because voice actors or whatever. And then we begin the real map after that lengthy explanation. This map unfortunately doesn't even give you the option to use fists, but I once again get around this limitation by cheating and adding them in anyways. I don't want to limit my route and gameplay for 2 chapters, so I do this because it is more fun. If you want to say taint because of the mod in this, go ahead. I just want to beat the game by only punching people, so I don't really care. This map is one of the few Maddening chapters without ridiculous scaling, as your options are minimal, so it is easy to train Fistleth and your lord to level 2. I do Dimitri because his is the only route I haven't played. So my first Maddening, first Blue Lions, and first Three Houses challenge run. What a doozy. Byleth and Dimitri do some flirting while Claude and Edelgard are unequipped, which is how I say that they somehow find the time to level up 8 times and get several stat boosts for preparation of the next chapter. Because Maddening. Byleth gets a great level up and Dimitri gets an okay level up, which is a one-time thing and will not happen again. Byleth just lets herself die here because having the nickname of the Ashen Demon means absolutely nothing when you see a quirky white-haired anime girl. Just like me, for real. The game that tells me that the 3 lords' personalities rather than showing them to me because the only way they're shown is if you pick their route. Thanks, Koei Tecmo. I choose Blue Lions for reasons previously listed. 3 houses? Like, the name of the game? That's crazy. Anyway, sleep time. I give everybody fists because all you need to do is punch people. The first map is supposed to be a fairly simple intro to the game's mechanics, but Maddening mode. So thank goodness you can just freely sacrifice units if you want. Being unable to chip enemies with bows is very bad. EXP gain is also ridiculously slow at this point of the game, which just feels bad. My strategy is to just bait out small groups of enemies at a time and kill when I can. I sack to do because even he can't take hitting doubled. The game then explodes on my totally legitimate copy of this game. I am forced to retry, but there's no video. The file's there, I just set up my OBS settings wrong. It wasn't hard, to be honest. The hardest enemy on this map is actually enemy to bead tree because he is likely to one-round basically all of your units. But well, you know, I don't have to deal with that, obviously. Also, the one time I'm not laughing when they say it was a challenge. Hold up, did I just write that wrong? I meant like... I meant like... Oh wait, no, that is right. Okay, oh gee. Anyways, our task this month is to dispatch. What? What? I can't write. Anyways, our task this month is to eliminate some bandits, which will obviously be an easy early game chapter, right? Right? The monastery is the true Fire Emblem 3 houses, and definitely the best part of the game. So I'm going to skip most of it because it's not relevant or engaging, because it's very obvious what I did. And apparently 3 houses asks for your IP address every frame on here, only on this one screen. Weird. I switched to Yuzu and the lag I was experiencing is gone. We meet the only well-written 3 houses characters, and slow motion Booba. And yes, Felix, this map will be insanely easy, but for real, this map is actually ridiculous on Maddening. Enemies have scaled just high enough to likely double most of your units. Enemies also have stupid skills like Poison Strike, which, fun fact, Poison Strike in 3 houses must hit the enemy to activate, unlike Fates where apparently Poison Shurikens flying past you still means you're poisoned, I guess. It didn't matter because strangely enough this chapter is extremely easy with this challenge. As it turns out, the weight system in 3 houses is god-awful. Weight makes most of the characters just slow enough to get doubled, since most can only negate 1 or 2 weight. However, Iron and Training Gauntlets have a ridiculously low weight compared to other base weapon types. This means many of my units don't get 1-rounded. Yippee! This map is still extremely annoying and apparently past me had some choice words about it. Also, Dimitri, who has the highest strength growth in the game, keeps getting no strength, and it annoyed me so much it became a running joke with me and my friend that I would always complain about my units being strength screwed. My luck is really annoying sometimes, but yeah, if you take the map slow, get the chest, use combat arts, which are surprisingly good, and see that Dimitri can't even damage the boss. Great. Felix gets the kill with his crest, and I can't even rewind to get the kill on someone else. Oh well, map was pretty easy. Anyways, for the next chapter, I speedrun Cindered Shadows in a very legitimate way, where I totally did not just hack in an infinite Amir and stat boosters. No, shut up. Maid outfit. Might have been funnier to not mention it, but I recruit Ashen Wolves, who I will barely use. Mission assist Lythicia, and Dimitri's strength still hasn't leveled. What? He's leveled at once in 5 levels, which is ridiculous, because it's a 60% growth. I will probably do the math on screen. I don't want to do that right now, though. I can't even beat the skirmish because I can't do damage to the armored enemies. The next chapter has actual story integration to the Blue Lions route, which is, the best decision ever. This chapter has definitely not made literally no sense to me on every other route, along with the next one. Yay. Anyways, this is a Fog of War map, and I don't have any torches, but it's fine. Although an archer gets a 6% crit on a green unit that I wanted to save. I should probably mention some units, I guess. Is what I would say, but I legitimately have no clue what to say for most of them. Violet has relatively good stats and a fist boon. Dimitri has Battalion Wrath and Vantage and monstrous strength and is a great investment target. Why did I say and like 4 times in that sentence? The rest of my units have small niches now, but will be totally outclassed by maddening scaling. Lysithia for Warp and Constance for Rescue is good. Annette is a rally bout. The rest of my team was just kinda filler. Even Didu, who had a great start but tended to fall off for one reason or another. Maddening XP and Class XP is also really dumb. You kinda can't even use your entire house without them all being severely underleveled and class masteries being halved. Just sounds like some kind of twisted joke. My notes for the rest of the map go as follows, by the way. Thunderbrand breaks, and Catherine will die soon. Almost die to Lanano, but don't. Smiley face. Riveting. Ash is sad. Oh shoot, my bad. Picked the wrong choice. I actually felt really bad for a second, but I was just reading really fast. Dimitri is actually a pretty neat character, huh? Anyways, I cheated again and used the infinite month glitch. It lets me get max rank on basically all of my units, meaning Fistfarers basically on everyone. Esper and Raphael are bad even though this is their canon weapon type, but some others are nice. Hilda doesn't have a fist boon or anything, I just used her because she has pink hair. And good stats, she was still mediocre. Marianne is an even stranger pick because she has the Fist Bane. But let's just say, if I didn't recruit her, she would have done something to herself that starts with K and ends with ill yourself. She does make a good dancer though, so... I do a pay-to-win DLC auxiliary battle that gives double XP specifically to counter Maddening's XP formula. Obviously, something done out of Corporation's good heart. The music is actually really good in these skirmishes though, and hopefully I'm smart enough to have it playing right now, please me. Also, I deliberately actually took notes this run, but definitely need to get better at because I just wrote live and learn, hanging on. in my notes, and I have absolutely no idea why I wrote that. I haven't even, like, ever beaten a Sonic game. I don't know, man. I pick up my also pay-to-win DLC bonus from my bed. It gives overpowered stat boosters and a Chalice of Beginnings, which lets you counterattack at any range if you have it equipped. Surely I wouldn't use such an obviously game-breaking item that almost completely destroys the point of even doing a challenge such as this, right? I give Dimitri the Chalice of Beginnings, then the 2 movement stat booster immediately. And don't worry, I'll give the rest to him soon enough. I don't fight the Death Knight this chapter because he's scary. Since I can now counter enemies at range, I just let Dimitri enemy phase and kill them with Battalion Wrath and Battalion Vantage. Normally you have to wait for the Retribution Gamut to do this at range, but I'm impatient. Why not start it now and with less setup, am I right? 7 movement helps too. Not sure why I sound so distraught in my comments about getting hit by a 25%. A really like 12.5 chance is bound to happen. Before I missed like 10-80% hits in Lunatic Conquest, I guess. Dimitri's crit rate is not perfect and it's only like 71%, which is actually 71%, so he might just miss, but it's not too bad because he's buffed from being in Brigand, an intermediate class, and effectively being ahead of the Maddening level curve. As my comment says, this map is really easy. What? I thought this was supposed to be a hard game. Without DLC, the mages might be dangerous, but I don't care. I slowly wade through this slow map and lose, but don't actually, and just kill the boss. And I'm 2 XP from leveling up Felix to level 10, are you joking me? If I remember correctly, this actually happens many times on this playthrough. I just didn't write them down, and I'm not looking through all of this footage to find something that may or may not have happened. Ew, why is Fistlith using a sword? Like, come on, it's in your name. I obviously won't be using the Sword of Creator because the name is telling you everything you need to know. And it has a hole in it. I don't like holes. Besides my one friend's holes, according to him. Anyways, Catherine has her sword out, which I can't stand, and will force her to never use it again. Which is probably a good thing, because she says it wears at her soul or something in one of his sports. Just throw it in the garbage, you don't need it. Pointless conversation. I won't use this bad sword anyways.
Good of you to come, Professor.
There's like no way the arena scales with Maddening, right? Dimitri just demolishes them, wow. Violet's never been told about her mom before. That's actually really sad. Obviously when I get the statues, I invest into the fist statue because... come on. Class XP is more important though. Swordmaster bases are crazy on Catherine, but usually she's only good for a bit because swords are bad. Even her fist boon should be a good thing, but she's female, which means she doesn't get fist classes. She's basically just stuck in Swordmaster, which is not good at all. But with gender lock removed, maybe she can do something? I still find it annoying. I have to go back to classes to get basically essential skills, which, by the way, for this challenge are basically just hit plus 20 for Archer and Death Blow from Brigand. Oh, and you can't forget Unarmed Combat. Unarmed Combat is incredibly good. I mean, it is hilarious to punch people with bare fists. That means it's the best weapon in the game. Bombard and Nimble combo are good too, which some other characters get, but... Dimitri has some foreshadowing for something I already knew would happen because I played this game 3 times. There's Rain, which would be a really nice set piece for the map, and it's in course. That's great. This map is a painful slog that gets even worse if you accidentally trigger the archers, or even if Gilbert accidentally triggers the archers. However, luckily for us, Gilbert sucks and will die instantly on Maddening, so you only have to worry about your own stupidity. Anyways, I used Dimitri Battalion Wrath, Battalion Vantage to sweep most of the enemies. Like I said earlier, having Death Blow is extremely good on fifths. It's effectively plus 12 damage because they also hit twice. I get very unlucky and have to rewind a bit, but oh well. Miklon has crit on basically everyone, which is a bit scary, but Fading Blow actually gives crit dodge alongside regular avoid, which is very nice. Despite everyone being dead, there's still people in this cutscene. Oh right, monsters. I hate these things. Fun facts. I actually didn't know if you broke every barrier they would be stunned. Probably would explain why I've always hated these things, but still. They're very unfun because you have to play in a specific way. I allow Gambit specifically so these guys aren't even more infuriating. I just gang up on him as it's not too bad. Anyways, the next chapter starts probably one of the stupider story beats in the game. Can't say series because there's way worse. Blaine gets kidnapped. You can find out where she is being kept immediately, but unlike Persona, you're actively discouraged from actually doing the story until you've completed your mandatory monastery exploration. Yay. Apparently they had to add this stupid prompt because people got mad that they lost time if they were like trying to be a good person or something. Very obviously they're not just gonna let Flame die. Who would care about something so obviously fake? Paralogs also start this chapter, and if you want to get on those, well, guess you're not helping Flame. But yeah, I recruit Shamir, who is usually god tier, but her use is mostly limited to having sniper bases and being able to use Hunter's Volley early, neither of which are particularly valuable to me. I also don't want to waste more time grinding weapon ranks. I surprisingly have somewhat of a life. You also can get Cyril this month, but he is not good to me. Genuinely, it is a neat touch that you can't get training from Seth this month because he's currently molding over his sister being lost. And then, whoa, good writing moment, that's crazy. Anyways, bye-bye Dimitri, how convenient that you leave when the Flame Emperor comes on screen. I kinda just one-turn the map, by the way. I do really want the Marchspring, but it's funny, and I don't want to play the game right now, so I literally spent 2 hours of my free time for a 2-minute long chapter. Definitely one of the Fire Emblem games of all time. Dimitri is happy that Byleth actually smiles. What a bro. We also get Flame, who is bad normally, so very obviously I will not be using her. Apparently this random girl was just here. They never searched for her. Nobody ever made a missing person report. Nothing. Seems kinda comical that the church, the church would just let someone be missing. And they wouldn't even check to see if she was, alive, but okay. Obligatory Among Us joke. 3 houses? Like the video game? Fire Emblem 3 houses? What a reference of all time. Dimitri explains why we won't have to play the next map for real because other people are fighting and 3 houses? Like the video? And Byleth is wrong. In no way will this be fair. The other students will have ridiculous stats. Anyways, explosion. The infinite much glitch. Yes, that I can speak. The infinite month glitch is possible again, so reclassing units to armor and maybe fortress is practical in normal playthroughs for more defense, so I do it for everyone. At this point, everyone useful to me has Fistfare, which is nice. I feed some stat boosters to Dimitri because he deserves it. No idea what sound effect I would put there, but okay, script. Yes, Dimitri, it has only been a year with absolutely no time travel shenanigans. Bernadetta, for whatever reason, has stealth as a skill, which is sorry, it's really funny though. It can't affect enemy units in any way, so it's just funny. There are many incredibly dangerous enemies, including Edelgard, who has ridiculous stats, and Claude, who has less ridiculous, but still ridiculous stats. I simply do not fight offensively because... Why would I? Why would I, play this video game that I spent $60 on when I can just not? Checkmate. A funny thing is that even though this is a mock battle, enemies still use real weapons. And I lied, I actually do go offensive because it's not too terrible, and funny 1% crit. Didu and Raphael die because I didn't care enough about them. The Golden Deer die, marking the last point in this story that they are actually relevant to anything that is happening. Edelgard and Petra, the only real dangerous enemies on this map, are aggroed as I deck Claude in his upside down face. What a nice thing to say, thanks Edelgard. And even more foreshadowing, that's hilarious. I also sacrifice Hilda for the funnies, and then we win. Whoopee! Dimitri talks about how a mute person has changed and is now more emotional as they barely respond back to him. Byleth gets a small headache. We meet a not at all suspicious individual. Sus. And also learn something you wouldn't know at all unless you played this one route. Thanks, Koei Tecmo. I don't really feel like doing the paralogs. I'll just procrastinate like I do in real life. Kill them all voice line can be played. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to say that. Oops. That's funny. The map this chapter is interesting in that you can save villagers for some nice rewards. Also, tearing through heaven is a banger. And then a villager dies turn 1 to a 2% crit. Great. I reset, and after some time, I'm able to save all the villagers. I also kill the Death Knight. Nice. The rest of the chapter should have been smooth sailing, but Gerald kills himself. For some reason, the fire isn't animated on the Divine Pulse screen, but I don't know where to return, so Gerald kills himself again, and I lose. I was very frustrated after this. So frustrated, in fact, that I watched an entire anime in between this attempt and the next attempt. Which is funny. Even when I come back, the game indulges me by making me take another 2% crit. Are you actually joking me? I beat the map by doing almost none of the side objectives because I don't care anymore. I feel a little bad, but not nearly bad enough. Dimitri yet again disappears when the Flame Emperor is off screen. How coincidental. I don't even bother entertaining the false choice, and Gerald gives a little exposition because he will totally not die in a month. And wow, Gerald is accompanying me on my mission? I'm sure that's absolutely nothing. Nothing will go wrong. Fishing time. Marion is my dancer, as I said earlier. gay time with Dimitri. Oh wait, I'm female bias. Damn. I forgot to choose him, but the game intuited that that was what I wanted, which is correct. And then a song that's never mentioned again. Cool. And then cut to battle. I guess they forgot and just put it here. I don't know. I do get blinded by some emulator jank though. But the battle itself is interesting, and there is some rewards for playing well. I warped Geralt into this box, and that's here for some reason, so he doesn't kill himself a few minutes ahead of schedule. Raphael kinda just gets one-rounded, so not sure why I'm still using him, but oh well. Some of the students die because I can't save them fast enough, so whatever. Missing energy drop, I guess. And Catherine dies, and I have no divine pulses, so I reset, and then I actually use rescue for its intended purpose. Crazy, I know. Then I have a long rant about monsters in my notes because I didn't like this map, but I don't care. You probably don't care. I was very salty at the time, and I just wanted to watch my anime in peace, man. The map is beaten also. Geralt gets his scheduled death, which I was laughing at because I could finally stop dealing with stupid green unit and also good showing on how to not do time travel in a story. Oh jeez. Dimitri's dialogue is like really good here. Almost makes me feel bad for everything I've just said in the past, like, 20 minutes. Almost. If only he was in other routes and the other characters were as well developed as he is. Sad Byleth. Funny footsteps. I do a bunch of paralogs, but honestly it was pretty worthless to do them. Dimitri is grappler because good, and then I literally can't beat this paralog, so yay. So I then power level using overpowered DLC to make this difficulty 2% more bearable. Dimitri gets Fierce Iron Fist, but I barely use it on him because stat boosters. But 3 strikes on player face is goated on other units. Anyways, I actually lost the footage for this chapter, but Past Me was smart and actually had multiple save files for once in my life. Might not match exactly up, but that doesn't really matter. Maps like this are kill boss, which makes them trivial to skip. First boss on this map has ridiculous speed, but that doesn't matter anyways. I walk up to her, and I kill her. Wow. The cutscene would last like 10 times the length of the gameplay, but I skipped it anyways. I then warp up to Sullen and deck him twice as well. Whoa. Violet and Dimitri do some flirting in the cutscene after, but I don't have the footage, so sorry, I guess my OBS wanted to censor it. Back to things I actually recorded properly. I did all the rest of the paralogs I wanted to pre-time skip. In low quality because it was on my Steam Deck. The South paralog gives some nice rewards like Divine Pulse usages, and the Balthus Happy paralog has some annoying reinforcement mechanics, but is otherwise pretty fine. We get the only fist relic in the entire game, which sounds great, but I never used it because it was useless. Relics are kinda mid. Their durability kinda just makes me never want to use them in the first place. Constance Fury paralog is pretty tedious, but everyone is in grappler and higher levels, so it's easy. Oh yeah, at some point I went War Cleric on Constance for Aura Knuckles. It was not good. The Fetters of Jormy are nice, but I didn't abuse it too much. One turn, the Ignatz Raphael paralog. Then the Slain. The Sedith Flame paralog is easy. I just use my units to kill the guys. I also do the Ash Catherine paralog for the boots, but apparently I ran out of space, so I lost that footage too. Anyways, onto the actual chapter, we meet Empire Slave Number Irrelevant, and the Flame Emperor is like, yo, here's this cool map, and then I don't play it because I just want to see the new stuff of this route already. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever even played this map legitimately, despite me playing it 4 times at this point. It has a gimmick to save the thingamajigs, but it's kill boss, so nobody cares. It wasn't worth mentioning, but I did, and wasted everyone's time, yippee. Oh hey, a cutscene that wasn't on the other routes at this point. That's crazy.
Is this some kind of twisted joke?
Me when I realized Maddening is actually very easy to trivialize if you cheat. Anyways, yeah, shocking. The Flame Emperor is Edelgard. Wait, Dimitri, why are you using that lance? That's illegal. Then he uses his cannon weapon type, his fist, to kill people. How cool of him. You protected all the crest stones. I get things I don't use. Yay.
I don't recall giving you permission to speak.
How insightful, Dimitri. Generic NPC death grunt. Let's go. Rhea has her funny speech despite being rudely interrupted by Dimitri. Speaking of Dimitri, despite this being an extremely emotional moment, he does the generic fist bump. I can't. My original reaction to this was priceless, but I wasn't recording my voice, so now I'm sad. Edelgard does some yapping to pretend she's an actually interesting villain, when in reality, the more you look at it, the more you realize how fucking stupid everything to do with her is. If you don't agree, go cause havoc in the comment section. 2 weeks is clearly not enough time, so I will skip it, so that instead we have 0 weeks, which is much more preferable. Please let this gameplay over, please. Oh yeah, I forgot to recruit some teachers, so I recruit the infamous mid-squad, because all of them are useless, most even on normal playthroughs. And don't worry, the rest of this game is much less long than it's 8 out of 11 pages of the script, just so you know. We're not even at part 2 yet. I have a feeling something is about to change. The music on this map is amazing, but you only hear it once, and this map can be one turn, so I would be completely out of my mind to actually play this map. I mean, look at that beauty.
Late. We are all tired of waiting. Now, let's separate that sick head from your neck, shall we?
You never were one for patience.
Edelgard immediately overwhelms us because she loves wasting time. Rhea turns into a dragon, and Dimitri uses a lance, which shows how he's going insane because he's using an irrelevant weapon. I can't even take this seriously, to be honest. I've seen this 3 times. Rhea watches as Byleth gets sent to the Shadow Realm, and then the game ends! Let's go! See you guys next time when I play a good video game! Okay, but actually, since Byleth is gone, every character has been made about 2 times stupider, so that nothing can get done until they're back. And then within a year of coming back, Byleth decides the fate of the war. Absolute peak storytelling. Thank you, Koei Tecmo. I read the dialogue extremely carefully, because this is my 4th time looking at this exact dialogue that has not changed on any route for some reason. This scene is really cool, but I like have to make some funny joke to get my jokes in. So let me check my notes. Edgy boy. Byleth and Dimitri decided to go rat hunting for old time's sake. A really nice chapter, usually. But on Maddening, it is so atrociously designed that some people end up getting soft-locked. Amazing. Azure Moon is the worst offender, as Dimitri has none of the tools that make him good at his disposal. His new class is garbage and offers him nothing of worth, especially in mobility, and all he gets is a lance fair. It has 5 movement, which is good around 10 chapters ago. 6 movement is the bare minimum for good infantry combat units at this point, and he's forced into this wreck of a personal class. He literally specializes in horses. Why is he stuck on his feet? Another thing is that he starts with a new battalion forced onto him, which means he can't make use of his signature Battalion Wrath Battalion Vantage combo on this map. Along with you not being able to deploy units forcibly and only using your own house, this map is stupid. Gilbert being new to this map doesn't really help, because for a replacement for Dedue, he's let's just say far less versatile. He even starts with negative avoid, which is just something special. But for circumstances regarding this run, this chapter is not that bad. Due to how roided up Dimitri is from stat boosters, he does spectacularly against the usually insane enemies. He even can double many of them due to High Lord actually giving some speed and other factors. He even can avoid getting doubled from assassins with a rally, which is ridiculous for Maddening standards, let's just say. The chapter is genuinely just really easy for me. I kind of just beat the enemies up, not caring about chests or anything, because they're useless for me anyways. Maybe I hyper-evinced it into Dimitri a bit too much. Anyways, compilation of him getting crits because it's lore accurate. I need a drink after that. I'll drink as the compilation rolls. Hopefully the compilation does roll. Good stuff. Where was I? Oh yeah. I kill the boss by killing them harder, and they die. And I love being told information rather than shown it. Thanks, Koei Tecmo. This is such an excellently crafted story. No! I can't inflate Dimitri to T. This is horrible. Dimitri is now a War Master from how over-leveled he is because of all his carrying. The first random skirmish I do has nothing but Wyvern Riders. Why? Are you kidding me? They would just kill everyone else, but Dimitri has 100% crit, so, Anyways, the actual map this chapter can't be one turn skipped. How unfortunate. So I have to actually play it, which is only true for like 3 maps left in the entire game. But oh well. Catherine dies twice, once due to me taking the map too fast and taking an unnecessary risk, and the second because I didn't know she would move because the game didn't tell me. Oh well, beat it pretty easily, totally. Just kidding, she dies again, and again to a 6% crit. Ugh. I should have just let her die. She's died like 5 times at this point, hadn't she? She did nothing else the entire run. Okay. Anyways, Ripped Empire Guy number 4082, and another meaningless choice. Okay. Funny trivia. Apparently, Byleth will have an angry expression on their face for this entire chapter in the monastery. That's like the most important thing to note about this entire chapter. Oh wait, no. Anna's secret shop opens, so you know what that means. We visit a fiery place this chapter, and don't worry, Ingrid, I'll beat it quickly so you don't have to deal with the heat. I put an Among Us joke in my notes, but I'm too lazy to find it, so, wait, did I even... Oh, I didn't even describe beating him. Yeah, I literally just go over and I punch him and he dies, and the map ends. Turn 1. And now, back to the script, we get Eredbar in the cutscene, which I will not use for obvious reasons. Another completely irrelevant decision, dialogue with Rodrigue, because he will not die soon. Please believe me. And only we, the protagonist, can handle Dimitri. I mean, I thought people didn't like the Avatar worship in Fates and Engage, but oh well. Your growth rates, Hilda. They harden in response to physical trauma. I immediately take Dimitri out of Great Lord, because I ain't using that garbage. At least it actually has 6 move, but why is it not cavalry? Like, why? Dimitri takes the Wyvern Lord exam, which at the time I am unsure if it will be useful, but it definitely will. I wanted to skip this map, but I kinda couldn't. The dude, let's go. I love same turn reinforcements. Anyways, I walk up to the bosses again and kill them to end the map. Story things and stuff, I don't care. I would say what I did in this month, but none of it matters. Actually, wait, Dance of the Goddess is pretty nice. Apparently, I set my birthday to 420. I don't even find those jokes funny. Whatever. The characters talk about fog, so obviously the next map... The characters talk about fog, so obviously the next map has fog.
Kill every last one of them!
Funny line. This map is challenging because Dimitri can't one-shot the armors, even with a crit. Unfortunate. Rallies and this one gambit can't stack, otherwise I could've. I had a meltdown in my notes over this map before looking up how to beat it, and so I do. It is extremely boring, but I basically just let the enemies kill themselves because I can't risk Dimitri's battalion breaking. For our glorious class reunion, Bernadetta gets burned alive, Claude gets decked with 3 right hooks, and Dimitri doesn't kill Edelgard because the win condition was defeat bosses, so it could have been a lot easier, but oh well. Rodrigue dies, and I can't take this seriously anymore. Just use Divine Pulse, shaking my head, Byleth. Touching moment, I don't care. Dimitri does more generic animations to help ruin the scene. Our next stop is Verdiad, only after a month. Because pain. The boss is 15 tiles away, so I kill her. Dimitri is back in his home, so we go back to the... wait, the chapter was a sentence. Oh my... I love that. I love... Dimitri is back in his home, so we go back to the monastery, obviously. And Dimitri references every other route where Byleth doesn't baby him. And that is my shortest script for a chapter ever. Let's go. We prepare to march out at once, but actually only after a month of skipping everything. Oh yeah, and I went to Dimitri's paralogue. Actively engaging with the game is boring, and Dimitri is tired from carrying my entire run on his back, in an auxiliary battle for a reason that doesn't matter. And Dimitri reclasses to Wyvern to 1-turn this map, because we kill generic dude 42. And Claude gives us Fail Not, which is absolutely useless, because, I mean, just look at it. It's not a fist, bro. Oh no, the Death Knight. This will be so hard. Yeah. Also, I learned that you can actually do T as many times as you want until the person rejects you. You can only gain Charm twice a month, though, which would have been nice to know before. And the Death Knight has been deathed. Maddening? Like, the difficulty I'm playing? I have now used every single slave slot available for this game for this one playthrough. I originally intended them for if I was ever soft locked, but instead their use was just if my recording software messed up and I had to redo the recording like 3 times. I do a low level skirmish to deplete Dimitri's best battalion endurance for the final maps. Dimitri and Edelgard then have a spitting match, like the average Three Houses discourse on famous website twitter.com. Sorry, I mean x.com. My bad. I married Dimitri because... why not? You know? Like, no, bro. I don't know what you're hearing me out for. I'm just coming up with things on the spot, honestly. I need to go to sleep. I won't turn this chapter because... obviously, but I probably should explain something about it. I mean, I technically cheated, but it's only because I'm really stupid. I needed 2 more movement on Dimitri to effectively one-turn the map, using a complicated sequences of rescues, warps, dances of the goddess, and whatever. However, no matter what, I was 2 spaces short, and this could have easily been remedied through multiple different things. I could have actually played the map, which is boring, or done a multitude of other things to still one-turn it. The simplest would have been giving Dimitri a +1 move item and giving stat boosters to Lysithea or leveling her up more. Another would have been getting Constance enough reason rank to go into Darkflyer to rescue from a better area. I would have totally just hacked in the ability for Constance to go into Darkflyer because her reason rank was too low as a mistake. However, no matter what I did, no save editor could do this. I couldn't manually reclass her due to it being DLC, I guess. And I couldn't edit her weapon rank because it couldn't actually make the letter go up or down for some reason. I couldn't even find a mod to make reclassing free because it was broken. So I just did the simplest thing and just gave Lysithea 8 magic to make her warp range enough to do it. I simply was too lazy, but know that this could be done legitimately if you actually pay attention to your game. Lysithea barely did anything with that magic, so I don't believe it mattered like at all. Motivational speech for my allies as Edelgard is corrupted into... whatever that is. And there's truly so much to say about how this chapter went. Even as writing my notes, I was completely shocked by everything that happened, so let's get into it, shall we? I sent down basically just Dimitri into the left side to deal with enemies on enemy phase, and it worked amazingly. Most other units couldn't do damage, but well, here's an almost 2-hour long fight. That went well, and I thought I was pretty home free, but Edelgard was ridiculous. The reinforcements are all blocked off at this point besides one, which I can comfortably kill every turn with Fierce Iron Fist from Byleth. Edelgard has a ton of crit on Dimitri, which is great game design. Thank you, Koei Tecmo. He doesn't have fist prowess and is basically always at a chance to just instantly die for no reason at all. He quads her though, so I thought I could just wait it out and use Divine Pulses if I got unlucky. Here's how that went. On her last health bar, Edelgard actually gains Wrath and Vantage, which is fair and balanced. But, like, it didn't quite set in for me until I saw this forecast that I would win. If she didn't have Vantage, I kind of just sat there for like a few minutes realizing I've lost already. I sit in disbelief as I have lost, as I missed an earlier battalion with Byleth that I realized might be my only chance at winning. Actually using the mechanics of the game? Wow. I used my last Divine Pulse to travel much earlier on to salvage the situation. All the moves look samey, so it took a lot of time to actually even find the right turn, and I had to make sure it was right too. At this point, any crit would just instantly end this run, so I was incredibly scared at every point of this. Keep in mind, due to her health restoration, I can't simply only fight her at any phase. As I get her down to the final health bar, I know this is it, and I think it might be better to just let it speak for itself now.
Quite helpful. Leave it to me. Too slow. Edelgard, it is over.
Sorry, my bad. It is truly over indeed. I must say I did not expect such an ending to this run. Well, it did have its laughs, and while I still can't say I fully like Three Houses, this run did do a lot for me. It was an extremely enjoyable experience in retrospect, cheesing the entire game and all. And this is also why I don't mind the DLC use so much when looking back. While it seemed a bit cheesy at first without them, I'm not sure if my strategy for Edelgard would have worked at all, especially the speed, as he wouldn't have doubled without it. A little bit weird to get so squeamish right now after writing all of the part 2 script today, but yeah, I'm really glad I did this. And all right, my bad, clickbait. Yes, it is possible to beat Three Houses using only fists. I mean, most people familiar with Maddening aren't too surprised, especially with DLC, but this might actually be a pretty fun way to play the game. Putting limitations on a game with a severe lack of them makes it more enjoyable for me. I thank you for listening to this, and I hope it was an enjoyable video. Like, subscribe, do whatever. I hope you guys have a nice day. Poopy doopy, poopy scoopy doopy, poopy doopy doop poop poop. I can't believe I said the F word in this video. I didn't even mean to actually say it. I kind of just did. I have some like church friends who are watching this, so I hope they don't get mad at me. It'd be really funny if they did, though. If they hear this, that's gonna be really funny, honestly. Oh, and of course, I get an epic piss yellow background for all of that trouble. Let's go!